Well, good morning. Join me this morning on banks of local River Ouse. Around about 6:30 in the morning. Most people are still in bed, except for us crazy people. I've been down on the bank since about 5:30. I got my gear over the top of the bank. I had a bit of a ride along, see who was about. Plain and simply, I hadn't planned on coming out today, but it looked as though it might be a half decent sort of morning. The only bait I've got is worms. I've got some corn, but I'm only going to fish the worm. And as you can see, I'm fishing the feeder. The water's moving a little tiny bit. Not massive amount, but it's just sort of tripping through. We've had some rain on and off the last couple of days. So I'm fishing a ounce feeder. Got the rod up in the air. Small little bit of a bow. Hopefully, might be a few skimmers and maybe the odd bream about. I'm in an area where I've caught some bream before this season. Not a massive amount, but I've caught one or two. So hopefully, with the conditions, there is a tiny tinge of colour in the water, a little bit of movement. Hopefully, fingers crossed, there might be one or two fish about. The rod I'm using today, had for a few years, is a Shakespeare Mach 3 XT 11'6" feeder rod. Perfect here, it's not very wide. Fishing about 3 parts the way over. Nice simple chuck with this rod. Very soft rod, perfect for skimmers. Couple that with 4-pound mainline. Say I've got an ounce feeder just between 2 stops. A Crelusu swivel there, change the hook length quickly, and a 28-inch Shimano Aspire Silk Shock hook length with a size 16 hook. So all I'm fishing is the worm. Got a bag of worm. Chop some worms up to go in the feeder, and the ground bait I'm using is Bait Tech Omen with some brown crumb. Very sort of garlicky mix, perfect for bream. Bream like garlic, so hopefully might get one or two. Started off by putting about six or 8 feederfuls. I've been fishing about half an hour. I've had a couple of little skimmers, one sort of round about half a pound, and a few little hybrid as well. So I'm just going to hook the worm on, slide it up the shank, little bit of chop in the feeder, pack it in. I've got a marker on the far bank, which is a bush dead in front of me, and I'm clipped up. So aim for the bush, hit the clip. There we go. It's not as deep here, like I say, I mentioned just it's not as wide and it's not as deep. When I've fished the pole here before, I've actually been fishing, when I've fished out about 13 metres, I've actually been on top 5, where most other places along 10 Mile here is round about top 6. On the feeder line itself, I think that's round about 16 foot. So it's not it's deep further along you're fishing round about 20 foot on the feeder, 22 foot. So hopefully it's ideal for today. So it's very misty, around about 6 degrees when I got to the bank. Got the gear over, it was dark, had a head torch on. Got everything sort of sorted. I'd mixed the ground bait yesterday afternoon, so all I had to do with that was just dampen it down and riddle it. So yeah, all I had to do was just set the gear up, get the hook length on, and away we sort of go. There's a fish. It's a drop back bite. Feels like might be a hybrid. So a lot of hybrids in the system this year, which is really good for the future. Kicking well anyway. Lovely hybrid. It's a bit more, I would say it's a bit more bream than what it is roach. Lovely fish for a crisp Sunday morning in September. Most people are in beddy boys. Crazy Steve's out on the bank. It's a little bit chilly, but got the old thermal on under here. So not as mad as what people think. So what I do is just cut the top of the worm off. Got no nails, so I have to use a pair of scissors. Thread the worm along the hook a little way. There we go, nice and lively. Put a bit of chop in the feeder. Ready to go. And the clip. That's the sort of size feeder that I was using for baiting up. So they're well, they're actually from Preston. They're actually called bait up feeders. I started fishing with a 40 gram, which was a little bit too much. So I dropped it down to a 20 gram when I actually started fishing. And I'm now fishing just a normal plastic Nisa feeder on an ounce. There's a smaller one there, 3/4 of an ounce, just in case I need to drop down a size. But at the moment, with the bit of flow, and I need to get out to where I want to be, an ounce is perfect. Biggest bit of equipment that we need today. Now it's starting to get a bit chilly. It's the old flask. Little bit of a drop back. Always happens when you're doing something. That's a little bit bigger. Hopefully that could be a skimmer. Keep the rod down low, so they do have a tendency to come straight to the middle, straight up to the top. It's kicking well anyway. Hopefully that's what we're after, is a decent sized skimmer. Tighten to the left a little bit. Now decided to wake up a little tiny bit. Just saw it flash under the surface. Looks a lovely fish. Beautiful action on this rod, nice and soft. Little bit of power through the middle joint. Perfect for this style of fishing really, when you haven't got to cast too far out. In fact, actually a bream. Not a big fish, but hopefully one of many. Some weeds under my feet, so I'm just going nice and easy. Got nice long landing net handle for along here. You never know when the fish come up. He's in the weeds. No, he's actually in the net, so that's happy days. You see a few, brought half the weeds with me. Lovely fish for a September Sunday morning. Definitely beats staying in bed. Oosh! Get on the bank. Just had a nice drop back bite. Got a bream on. Just thinking about packing up. A nice bite, and so we've got a fish on it. Definitely where the longer handle comes in. It's bream. Nice fish as well. Beautiful fish. Oosh. Oh. Lovely fish. That's what we came for. Beautiful bream to finish the session on. Great fish. Bait Tech Oman does the biz again. Oosh! Well, we've just finished the session. See what we got. That ain't a bad net of fish at all. Got several bream that sort of size. Few like that. Oh. There's another one. There's a bait pot. All in all, we've got a lovely net of fish. Probably around about £40. Absolutely beautiful morning on the Ouse. Oosh!